Hey y'all, this is Anna Alexander, and it is opening weekend of the Gracie film production of Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And yes, I do have to say Gracie Films, because the opening scenes, the first seconds where we got that music and the took me right back to my childhood and the age I was watching Gracie television shows when I read this book. Now, when I heard that this movie was coming out, I had considered doing a reaction video to it. But then I had the thought of, we need more stories about young girls and the young girl experience that somehow based it in a little bit of truth. And the only way we're going to get those is if we show the studios that we're watching the ones that they are making. So I went and I voted with my dollars and went and saw this in the theater. And it's so delightful. It's so charming at the same time that it's so just made me sad as well, for several reasons. But if you're unfamiliar with the story, Judy Blume wrote a bunch of books, ones that came out, I guess they were in the 70s when they came out. I read them in the 80s. Super Fudge, Tales of the Fourth Grade Nothing, Sheila the Great. But Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is about a young girl, 6th grade, and she is experiencing a year of change. She's in a new school, in a new state. She's trying to make new friends, all while undergoing the trials and tribulations of puberty. She's got a lot on her plate. It's been a long while since I've read the books last, but it was pretty much what I remembered it being. But what was so refreshing was that they got kids to play kids. Oh, they weren't little adults playing children. No, they were kids playing, they were preteens being preteens, and it was preteens in the 70s. It was the time before watching suburban America, in a time before the internet, before cable television. The dad's listening to records, Margaret's reading books. I mean, people are outside on their lawns chatting with each other. We don't do that now. We don't do that now. Do we want to do that now? Oh my gosh, just the thought of chatting with a neighbor. Rachel McAdams was the mother. She was great. And I even enjoyed her kind of B storyline, which was her just trying to figure out, they moved from Manhattan to New Jersey, and her figuring out how she's going to be a suburban mom now, especially stay at home. What does that mean? How does she fit into her new roles? Abby Ryder Fortson played Margaret, and she was a joy. She was so believable, so charming. She rode that edge of uncertain girl and growing into the person, or starting the seeds of who she's going to be as an adult. She rode that line so well. She felt to me believable at every turn, every circumstance. I rooted for her the whole time. But Kathy Bates stole the show, y'all. Kathy Bates is Grandma Sylvia. Stole the show. And I think in part for me, it's because she was my mother. Grandma Sylvia was my mom. My mom's got a lot less, like zero costume jewelry. But if you want to know how my mother is in a part, watch this one. And Kathy Bates was great. She was fabulous, as always. But every move and every choice Sylvia made, I believed it and I saw it coming and I knew it was going to happen, and it was still fabulous. So why did this movie make me sad? So the two big overarching themes and questions we have. One, which is basically just the subject of puberty. What it means to go through puberty, the changes that your bodies go through and at what age, especially when you start comparing them to your peers. The expectations of your friends and people who you want to be your friends. Nancy, Margaret's first friend she meets in Jersey. Nancy is a wrecking ball. And if this film was set now, Nancy would be social media, the society. She is so eager to grow up. What boys do you like? What size is your bra? Have you started your period yet? And Margaret's still kind of in childhood land. So being suddenly confronted by somebody who she wants to be friends with forces her to grow up maybe a little bit faster than she wants to. But just them and these young girls learning about themselves and society's expectations and these changes that they're having to their bodies and the information and misinformation that they're giving to each other. There's people right now in this day and age who are actively, forcefully preventing people from gaining that education about basic biology. And it's maddening. It's so frustrating. This is something everybody goes through, and you can't stop it. And the more knowledge you have will help you get through those changes and understand them so it's less scary. And here we are 50 years later, and the conversation has actually gone backwards. Maddening, made me sad. The second whole part of it is a discussion about religion. Not necessarily, not faith, but religion itself. Margaret has a Jewish dad and a Christian mom, which had brought troubles beyond previous movie. But Margaret is given a seemingly, I'm thinking, a little advance of a task for a 12-year-old to research religion. Sure, kid, go research religion. So Margaret tests out a few different religions, trying to see what fits best for her, and just kind of realizes at the end that all the religions she sees is just filled with hate and people just wanting to hate each other. And here we are, 50 years later, although in reality, the religion discussion is thousands of years in the making. But people still basically just form groups of hate. And that's what they just want to hate other people who don't think like them. So they form these little pockets of hate. So here's these two overall discussions, puberty and religion, and our conversation hasn't gotten better about them. And that's why I was sad, which is also why I think you should go see this film. I think this film is not just for women and it's not just for girls. I think it's for any age group, any gender you should be. Because again, a lot of it is about what you go through in those teen-ish, preteen years. Everybody can relate to it. Everybody has a story. And even if you don't have a uterus, it might help you have a conversation with the people in your life that do and how they feel about things. It's a good conversation starter, especially if you do have young girls, to break into. This is what's going to happen to you. This is how we get through it. This is what's normal. Also, don't compare yourself to others. Your time will come when your time will come. So if you're looking just for a good story, solid, a little bit of nostalgic, that 70s style, man, that 70s style it's a kick. It's a kick and a half. But heartwarming, good characters that feel grounded, not over the top. Go check out Are You There, God? It's me, Margaret. Let me know what you think. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves, stretch your bodies, stay hydrated. If you haven't done so today, go eat something and then come back and see the next video in the queue. So thanks again, y'all. And until next time.